Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have the latest from the live radar, run through the weather warnings as we do have yellow rain warnings issued for parts of southern England, as we are going to continue to see some very heavy persistent rain in the near future. Not only heavy and persistent rain, but also some heavy thundery showers are possible in places, all exacerbating the impacts of the heavy rainfall. We'll have a look at the latest UKV, have a look at all that rain in detail, and look at the temperatures as they are recovering very slowly over the next few days back in towards the 20-degree mark, as we do start to see some slightly milder air or warmer air moving up from the south. And then we'll finish the video by having a look at the longer range. What does the middle part of July have in store? We have been seeing some strong hints of higher pressure returning, and unfortunately today a lot of the runs are still holding on to lower pressure, at least out to day 7 to day 10, continuing to push back that high pressure build towards the middle to second half of the month. Hopefully that high pressure pattern does properly re-emerge and does take over, but unfortunately for the time being, it does look like low pressure is going to be around for the near future and most likely the medium future as well. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now if you start on the live radar, I'll call this around 10 PM on Monday evening, and you can see a big wall of rain is moving in for all of England and Wales at the moment. Lots of moderate to heavy rain here, and we do have a rain warning issued out for southwest England for this. Again, it's not likely to drop anything too ridiculous in terms of precipitation totals, but still could see a good 10 to 20 millimeters in many areas. That's after seeing around 40, 50, 60 millimeters for many over the course of the last 3 or 4 days. So again, ground is going to be very saturated. Wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of mud around in places, which is highly unusual for the middle of summer. And there is, again, a high risk of surface water flooding as the ground is beginning to get very saturated. So it means any heavier bursts, we could see flash flooding in places. As I said, unlikely to see any massive river flooding. It has been relatively dry the past few weeks, but that could become a risk in the next couple of weeks if this sort of rainfall pattern does continue. Now if you look at the temperatures this evening, you can see it isn't too cold, relatively mild across northern England. What we have less rain further southward, slightly chillier, but of course that wind direction is now coming up from the south, so it is pushing in milder air. So once the rain clears through Tuesday and Wednesday, we are actually likely to see slightly milder air for a time, so at least we've got that as one positive. Now if you have a look at those weather warnings, you see a weather warning for much of southwest England extending into South Wales, and it is from earlier this evening, 6 PM until 3 AM. So it does expire. For many of you watching this in the morning, it will have expired, but again, could be heavy rain around through this evening, 20 to 40 millimeters, 60 to 70 in a few spots. Into Tuesday, there's another warning issued. We've got still that warning in the southwest, and then we've got another warning issued for eastern Scotland from 10 PM tomorrow until midnight on Wednesday. Again, rain becoming heavy and slow moving, leading to impacts on travel and disruption. And again, we can see 20 to 30 millimeters quite widely, 50 to 75, maybe up to 90. So again, lots of rain, and you can see that does continue into Wednesday. Again, these are the most prone areas for heavy, persistent rain and the risk of flooding and dangerous conditions, but anywhere really across the board could be seeing impacts from this rainfall, as it is looking very widespread and pretty heavy in many places. Now do look at the latest UKV. You can see all that rain moving up from the south at the moment. It will slowly clear through Tuesday morning, and it will linger across much of Scotland through Tuesday. There could be some further heavy rain for southern and eastern England. Unsure how far inland this will come through Tuesday, but again, could be some heavy blustery showers in places. As we head into Wednesday, still lots of rain across northern Scotland and Northern Ireland. And this again is why we have that rainfall warning issue for eastern Scotland, where the rain is most persistent and heavy. And for Wednesday, it doesn't look too bad. Of course, England are playing in the semi-finals of the Euros, and it looks like it was actually going to be a very nice, pleasant afternoon to evening, with, yes, a few showers around across northern England, rain for Scotland and Northern Ireland, but to be honest, I don't think they're too fussed about being in the pubs to watch the football. But for England, it does look very dry, looks quite sunny, and looks like a very warm and pleasant evening compared to the days prior and the days following. because as we move into Thursday, that rain slowly sinks southwards again, and although, yes, it's not widely very wet, it brings in more cloud, drizzly rain, and then through into early hours of Friday, we start to see some more heavy rain pushing in for southern areas. So again, that briefly dry conditions setting up on Wednesday are only there for a short period of time, coinciding perfectly, as I said, with the football. So maybe the stars are aligning. We'll have to wait and see for Wednesday, but at least the weather looks like it's going to be playing ball at this stage. Through Friday, that rain is slowly pushing into the south, but doesn't make much inroads as we do see some higher pressure building northwards, so it does get pushed away. Depending on the exact positioning, it could push further inland. We'll have to wait and see. And then you can see finally into Saturday, winds coming in from the north as we do have high pressure to our west. But of course, it is midsummer, so it's not going to be too cold, as you can see the upper air temperatures are actually relatively warm coming around the northern and eastern edge of the higher pressure. Now, if you look at the max temperatures, you can see as we head into Tuesday, temperatures will peak at around the 20 or 21 degree mark where we don't have cloud and rain. It will be best. As we head into Wednesday, those temperatures will rise quite high across much of England, high teens or low 20s. Again, nothing to shout home about for summer, but compared to Monday, Tuesday, compared to Thursday, Friday, it's looking pretty decent, pretty warm and sunny for England there. As we head into Thursday, again, we could see a 22, 23 or 24 in the far southeast, but as we transition further northwards, there'll be more cloud and rain, so it will be quite a stark contrast between the cloud and the sun, and we'll see that in the temperatures, well, maybe 8 to 10 degree contrast in the space of only a few tens of miles. As we head into Friday, again, it's going to be a bit cooler with more cloud and rain, 17, 18 degrees at best, and you see to Saturday, widely a little bit warmer, but still struggling below average in the high teens. So you can see really a few glimmers of some summery conditions, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, but apart from that, lots of rain, lots of showers, and generally pretty cool conditions to dominate. Now, if you look at the longer range now, we do start on the latest GFS. You can see that we do have lower pressure pushing in at the moment from the south, and that's why we're seeing all this heavy rain. The low pressure lingers later this week, but we do see a brief ridge of high pressure through Wednesday and Thursday, and that's why it does turn dry for a time. But then we see a bit more of a trough moving in, and you see that bit of northerly wind later this week, and that's why it does turn slightly dry, and that wind comes in from the north. But it's not likely to last all too long, with more low pressure moving up from the west, turning things unsettled once again. As we get into the longer range, there are signs of high pressure building in, but once again, it stays day 10 and beyond, unfortunately. So although, yes, it looks warm, looks mild, looks dry, from those upper air temperatures, it looks really quite pleasant indeed. It's actually unlikely at this stage because it is so far in advance. We'll have to wait and see if we do see some more confidence with this, but for the time being, it is just one to keep a very close eye on. Now, if you finish looking at the latest GM, you can see again low pressure pushing in at the moment, high pressure trying to take control, but all these little pesky lows dominating to day 10. And the same can be said for the ECMWF. Again, low pressure pushing in at the moment, brief ridge of high pressure through the weekend, but again, low pressure returns by Sunday and Monday with more heavy thundery showers and quite big area of low pressure there towards day 10, keeping things cool and unsettled with the air mass coming in off the Atlantic. So you can see all reruns there, day 7 to day 10, don't look like there'll be massive improvement. Yes, some brief ridges of higher pressure, but really nothing to shout home about. Maybe right in the extended range from the GFS, but at this stage, unfortunately, I've got no real positive news or any confidence in any positive news at this stage. We had a glimmer of hope later last week, towards the second half of last week of high pressure building in, but it's now backed off from that, unfortunately, and it's remaining this cool, unsettled pattern. The more this continues, the more this summer does start to stand out as a cool and turning wetter. It hasn't been too wet through June, but July's definitely started very wet. We'll have to wait and see, but the one thing I have noticed is I haven't really spoken much about big Spanish plumes or anything like that. We've seen a couple brief occasions through late spring, early summer, but really nothing to shout home about in the past week or two. After you finish by looking at the latest ensembles, you see brief rise in temperatures over the next day or two, and that's why it'll turn briefly warmer during this week. Cooler conditions into the weekend, but then low pressure returns, and you can see it goes from slightly dry for a couple of days to wetter once again as we head towards Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then into the longer range, we do return towards average. There's quite a strong signal for that, but precipitation stays moderate. Not high, not low, so no massive high pressure dominance, no massive low pressure dominance, but definitely kind of in between, which just means there's quite a lot of disagreement between the ensemble runs. And finally, if we compare to the ECM-WF, broadly very similar. Warm or a bit above average at the moment. That's why we could see low 20s in the next couple of days, then below average again with higher precipitation. Then we return to average and we do keep some moderate amounts of precipitation. We'll have to wait and see exactly how it does play out. But for the time being, yeah, it looks unsettled, looking relatively up and down in terms of temperatures, but it will all depend on the sunshine, which as I said might be few and far between in the near future. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Fingers crossed things do get better, but to be honest, I can't really guarantee anything at this stage given how the ensembles and operational ones keep trending. But as I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Discover you new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.